Alright, welcome back to How to Make a Social Network with CodeIgniter. First I want to just say I've been really busy. I really have been trying to get this going. I've been working on it for the last 2 weeks because of errors that I had. I finally got them figured out. I'm sorry if you've been waiting a long time for this because I've been working on debugging a program for somebody else which actually made me money. Plus I'm a truck driver, so I'm out on the road, so I can't always upload and check stuff. But anyway, let's get on with this. What we're doing is we're going to set up the session this time. So what we're going to do is we're going to go into controllers. I believe we already had the site controller created. So we're going to open up the site controller. Now if you notice, this part here was originally in our site controller. We do have login template here. We're going to change that. What I'm going to end up doing is just going to make a copy of the template, and it'll actually be called site template. And as you see, I already put a note change in lesson 5. But what has changed is this up here. We added a function called __ construct. Now what a construct does is before you can use any function, so any function we put in down here, including the index function, is going to get drawn in through this first. And we're going to be using this quite often. We're going to be using it in login. We're going to be using it in registration. It's going to be different from this one a little bit, but it will be the same idea. We'll be checking cookies instead of checking the session. But all we're going to do here now is we created the function construct. We're going to go parent construct, and then we're going to go this load model. We're going to load the user model like we usually do for our user model. Now we're going to say what we're looking for is we're looking to see if the session is logged in. We'll be working on this model here next, but what we're going to say if not this user model is logged in. So in other words, if you're not logged in, it will kick you there. Now I don't remember why I did this, but I was having some sort of goofy problem. So we have the or. I'm going to say this user model is logged in, not equal to true. Pretty much that's a redundant statement. They're the same thing. I don't know why I put it in there originally, but like I said, I had some sort of error, and it's kind of a catch-all, so it seems to work, so I'm not going to fight with it. I'm going to let it go. Okay, so now if either of these are true, it's going to redirect us to login. If they're not, if we're logged into the session, then it's going to let us run the function. So that's kind of an introduction to the construct that we're going to be using, and like I said, this construct's going to get quite long. It's actually going to cover the whole page and then some. We've got a lot of functions that are covered underneath this construct, and there's a lot of stuff we're going to be checking. But for right now, that's how we're going to be using the session and the construct. Alright, so we've got the site controller set up. So the next thing we need to do is we need to go into the model and create a couple of functions in the model. So we're going to create a user model.php. Okay, and this is what the model looks like. It's our standard model. We're going to open up our PHP bracket. We're going to say class user model extends CI model. And remember, everything is capital here needs to be capitalized. So, okay, so our first function we're going to create is the one that we used over in the site controller. This is the isLoggedIn function. So we create our function, open the brackets, and we're going to say, first off, we're going to say isLoggedIn equals this session user data is logged in. Now we set this back in our login model, and we set it to true when we get a successful login. Now we're just going to say if not is set. So in other words, if it's not set, which is the login, if there's nothing in there whatsoever, no true, no false, then it's going to kick out an error. Or if is logged in is not equal to true, so in other words, if it's false, then we're going to return a false. Now, if we actually logged in and it all worked, then we're going to return true. So this function pretty much just says, are you logged in? Yes or no. Very simple function. And this is what we're using for the session to let us into the main page. If you try to type in the main page and go to the site, it's just going to kick you back out to here, and it's going to make you log in. Or I should say, it's going to kick you through the construct, and the construct will read this and it'll say false, send you back to login. Okay. Now, the second one, all we're doing for the second one here is we're getting some information from our session. If you remember, we created our session back in login, and we named it Noob Online. Since that's my website, you name it whatever your website is, or whatever your session is. And so all we're going to do is we're going to set user info equals this session user data Noob Online. Now I probably could have just saved a line, and I probably could have just put this piece right here where user info is. It would work. Don't ask me why I do this, is force of habit. But anyway, we're going to return that user info. And that's all we're going to do for the model today. This model tends to be one of our biggest models, and we're going to be using it quite often. We may break it down into some separate models to make them work a little bit smoother. But for right now, this is where a lot of our information is going to be put. Alright, so the last thing I worked with was the site index. So now we really don't have to do this part. I mean, we could wait till later and do it, but I wanted to prove that everything was working. So we're going to go into views, and then we're going to go into our site directory that we've created before, and we're going to open up our index.php. Now, if you remember correctly, this is all it said. It just said our page content will go here. I just left that there because I don't really care. Now, this is loading some templates from the top and bottom. After a while it will anyway. But right now, what we're putting in here is we're going, oh, excuse me, I'm going to say welcome, leave a space. We're going to open up our PHP tag. Oh, excuse me. Oh. Anyway, open our PHP tag. We're going to say echo, and we're going to echo this session user data, and we're pulling the username out of that user data. So by pulling that out, we're going to be able to echo their username, which is their nickname or whatever. We're not going to use their real name here. And then I just threw a couple of line returns in here, and like I said, left our content in here. So that's all the code we're actually going to be doing on this one. I will show you how this works next, and what's a little bit different. So alright, so here we are at the login page. No matter what I type in up here, as long as it's noobonline.net64, if I try to log in directly into the page, into the main page, it will kick me back out here. In fact, here, let's just copy this. And we'll open up another window, and I'll paste the URL in there. And as you see, it kicks me back to the login page. So now we're going to log in, and as you see, it's using my username here and just saying welcome. This is going to be changed. This is going to be over here later on a bar, and we're going to have a menu up in here. But for now, this is all we really did was made it so nobody can get to this page without actually logging in. And just to show you that I wasn't cheating, I put in this so that you could see that it does say the username. I would like everybody that watches my videos to go and register on the beta site. And if you haven't registered, please register. Otherwise, go into the beta site and log in and see if it gets you to the same thing. Other than that, that's all I really have for this video. Alright, so as usual, I usually go through and tell you what we're going to do on the next session. Well, the next one, we're going to put in a cookie. We actually have cookies already there. We're going to make everything work for the cookie. We're going to be able to type in the URL and jump straight to the page, and it's going to read our cookie and kick us right to this page. Also, we're going to put in the menu at the top and login. The menu is going to look like crap if you just use it the regular way. There's going to be some CSS to get this menu to work, but you can do the menu any way you want. There will be a 0.5 video for that because I know you guys don't like the CSS in the regular video, so that's fine. And there will also, I believe I said log out. We're going to put the log out, which will delete our cookie and log us out and throw us back to the login screen. Other than that, there's quite a bit of work to do in that. I have about 3/4 of the code already sitting waiting to be copied over into I'm hoping within a week or less, I know I've said this already, to have the next video already up and running. I appreciate your guys' comments, questions. Make sure you like the video. Let your friends know, if they're looking to build something like this. I am going to try and finish this thing completely all the way through to the lessons. So, I guess we'll see you next time.